Yeah, having a bit of lazy day today. Being cut down a limb at my parents' place for my mum very early in the morning sort of thing. I think Leonardo da Vinci is correct. One day on, one day off is the best way to go. I think I made a mistake with this, fellas. As I said, I'd spent a lot of time down the shops looking at the bag, trying to find out what it was to make sure that it was. I only saw it somewhere on the bag here, way down on the bottom here, somewhere. It actually tells you what it is. Oh yeah, ingredients, one line, zeolite, naturally occurring volcanic clay sort of thing. So apparently this is zeolite, which is, if you do some research online, is aluminium lead silicate. Well, apparently it's high in lead, so it's high in aluminium and high in lead, and they say if you clinophile it or whatever, grind it very finely, people are ingesting it, and if they ingest the really fine stuff, they're getting toxic amounts of, well, aluminium and also lead into the system. The lead is why it's so good at getting some of these places where they live near Chernobyl or something, so they have their breakfast and they have a bit of that stuff as well, and it absorbs the radioactive cesium that has a half-life of about 30 years, I think, or something, and it binds to it, and also the lead that's in the zeolite helps with the radioactivity, of course, because it's lead shielding in a way, so you can see how it works. Anyway, found out what the problem was. This went round with Dazzy, put the old meter over the stuff. Apparently this is 0.458 ohms, in other words it's half an ohm basically, so it's very high resistance for what it is, and therefore high resistance, little current, little to no current, little to no magnetism, basically. That's what's the problem. So anyway, I've got myself some new cable sort of thing, so we should be able to we should be fine with that sort of thing, and also got some other stuff for windings if I need them sort of thing, so we'll go from there sort of thing. The other thing is one of the four batteries was a bit leaky, so we tossed that one. These were pretty good, so there's nothing wrong with these batteries. They were tested all around 8.5 to 9 something or other, so they're up there. They still had their muster, but one of them was leaky. You put a resistor in the circuit and you check out whether it's leaky or not, so we'll give that a go later on. But that wasn't, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad or something, or 1 out of 3 is pretty good, because in the matter of 72 hours, you wait till you see this, fellas. Oh, wait till you see this. In a matter, look at that, I mean, isn't that indicative? If I can get it in the sun, there we go, in the sun. What do you think of that, fellas? Very coloured around the piece of so it's not sweetness in the water, it's meatness in the water. I don't know whether that's with a T or with a K. He's having silly buggers with you, I reckon. It's the meatness, and oh, that smell. Oh yes, characteristic odour there, fellas. Characteristic odour. I'll have to sniff it a bit more often and I'll be able to tell you what it is, but has a very characteristic odour to it. But you can see this is up the top, so is it because that's where the where the reductive flammable gas is going, so it's actually making use of the reductive flammable gas, so it grows in the reductive flammable, but it lives in a reductive environment. So this one down the bottom, it's not going to be as good because the gas is rising upwards. So this is going to take long to get going and sustain. Or is the fact that it can't break down very quickly because it's actually in a reductive environment down the bottom. So there is definitely a difference. Of course, on the next question, it leads on to you having a look at this one with the charcoal and the phosphorus. Do we have now an angle with this sort of thing? I don't know if you can see this, but it's definitely going green there, and there's also bubbles going on, so there's some, I would assume, microbial activity occurring. If we can get that out in the sun and actually get some focus on it, which we didn't get the other day. There we go, fellas. Is that actually going to focus? I don't know, but we'll see. But just up the top, again, just up the top. So we'll put that back. The question is, what about charcoal? Is there meatness in the charcoal? Is the charcoal a form of meatness, in quotes? You know, do the organisms look at the charcoal and say, carbon plus water equals sugar? You know, a carbohydrate, carbon and hydrogen oxygen in the ratio of carbon to water, you know, H2O sort of thing. That's why it's called a carbohydrate. Does the organism just take in the micro charcoal, nano carbon particles, and because it's in an aqueous environment, water plus charcoal equals sugar? It can actually do that. They say there's no microorganism out there that can just attack pure carbon, but maybe it just hasn't been discovered yet, and we're discovering it now. Maybe it's a form of, in quotes, salmonella type organism that's able to take in micro charcoal nanocarbon particles in an aqueous environment and convert them by adding the water onto the carbon into a sugar. I'm assuming they're going to start off with a simple sugar, but you know, yeah, the power of catalysts and metallic